Netflix. Next up is season 2 of Ozark, also available on Netflix. You can stream both season 1 and season 2. Binge watch both of them bitches if you need to. But definitely, absolutely, hands down, number one recommendation, watch this show. I love this fucking show. It's so dope. It's so interesting. It takes so many sharp, unexpected turns. And the premise of it, let me just give you guys the premise of it, so you can sort of kind of get an idea of what it is Jason Bateman, which is the main character, and I recently found out directed 6 of the episodes, and that's how he agreed to sign on to it, because he said he felt, and I'll link to the interview where he says this with the Hollywood Reporter. He said that he read the 2 scripts that were written at the time when he chose to sign up for the show. He said that he would sign up for it if he was able to direct as well. And since he has directed 6 of the episodes, and the reason why is because he saw something in the character where he felt he needed to have, it might be, I guess you could look at it as like a control type of thing, but he said, like, as an actor, you do certain things that you hope and have to trust that down the line in the editing room or down the line with the director, that, you know, in all the stages after the acting that go on, that hopefully they pick up on it and either include or heighten. And, you know, it could be like the music that's chosen to be played during a certain scene, and that can outshine a certain what do you say, like an inflection or a look or a smirk or something like that. As an actor, you have control over, but then, you know, the director could choose to cut away from that or focus into it too much, and the music could like outshine it, and the editing could just completely miss it and, you know, cut it out completely, and like stuff like that. So he felt he can have a little more control on who he thought the character was and who the character could be. If he described it as having one hand on both sides of the steering wheel, on the camera side and on the off-camera side. He's been doing an amazing fucking job. It's so dope to see him in this role, because it's a serious role, contrary to what Jason Bateman is used to playing in, you know, movies like Horrible Bosses, or like that Christmas Party movie, and, you know, like stuff like that, which is more like comedic roles, or Paul, which he was like, you know, it was a comedy obviously, but he was like, his role was semi-serious, and he does such an amazing job. He's really, really dope at what he does, man. And I really enjoy his interviews also. He's so knowledgeable about his craft. It's infectious. The premise of the show is that Jason Bateman plays a financial advisor from Chicago that winds up in a position where he is unknowingly at first, but then involved to the point where he has to like completely jump in, laundering money for a Mexican drug cartel. And with each, after the first season, it was like, what the fuck can they do? Like now, like, where can this go? And then the second season just went deeper and deeper and deeper and took sharper turns. And it's like every time he corrects for something, like, you know, he has an issue, he fixes that issue, he seems to simultaneously get out of that issue by getting himself into another issue. So he's like fixing one issue, getting himself into another one, fixing that issue, getting himself into another one, and he goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's like sharper, unexpected turns happen with like other characters as well, not just his. And it's a thriller like a motherfucker, and very suspenseful, very, very, very suspenseful. And you guys should check it out. Absolutely should. There's a few key scenes in, not key scenes, but just, I guess, a couple that resonated with me that I wrote down from season 2, which one of them is one of the characters called Buddy, which was the owner of this house that they moved into when they moved from Chicago to the Ozarks in Missouri, is like dying from something like lungs related, I guess, because he has like a oxygen tank, stuff like that. But he is kind of like an eccentric fella, and it comes out later that he used to have, when he was younger, like ties to the Kansas City mob, and he was a very interesting character. But anyway, in this season, he starts to he has a scare where they take him to the hospital, and they think that even the hospital says that he's gonna die soon, and he's like, fuck this, and he checks himself out of the hospital. He's like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die in my own bed. And then he winds up lasting, spoiler alert, longer than expected. I'll say that. And he doesn't die right away. And then there's a scene where he wakes up, it's early, and he pours himself a glass of whiskey, and he goes upstairs, and the mother's there, the mother of the family that moved in, which is Jason Bateman's wife, and they have 2 kids. And he's having like a conversation with her and some dialogue, and she's like, isn't it too early for this? And then he tells her, and I quote, "When you think you're going to die yesterday, today is sweet." And that's from season 2, episode 8 of Ozark. And I thought that was a dope line, and just like a resonating concept in and of itself, right? It's like if you have like a near-death experience or something like that, and you were supposed to die by all accounts and purposes the day before, the next morning must feel like heaven when you wake up. Then another dope scene, it's an exchange between Marty, which is Jason Bateman's character, and the lawyer for the drug cartel, which is like the in-between. Marty doesn't meet the employer, quote-unquote, drug cartel guy directly. He always deals, or she always deals, with this lawyer character. And this lawyer tells, and Marty's having like a semi-meltdown, and he's saying that the lawyer's pretty much saying that he has to take care of this issue with this person or this party that is causing an inconvenience. And Marty's like, I'm not a killer. Like, I'm not, I don't kill people. I don't, you're telling me to take care of it, and you're insinuating that I should kill him or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm paraphrasing. But that's not me. I don't do that. And Marty goes, and I quote, "I'm an accountant. I move numbers around." And then the lawyer, without skipping a beat, responds, "I'm a lawyer. I move words around. There are no victims here, right? Just volunteers." And that was like a dope exchange, I thought. And she checked them pretty good. And pretty much saying, yo, none of us are victims. We're all just volunteers. And, semi-sarcastically saying that. And, but there's truth behind it, like you didn't have to get involved. But she kind of sort of le deja dicho that it's like there's one way out of this life. We're all volunteers until we fucking die, either by natural causes or by a bullet to the head. But that's it. Like, take care of this shit. It's a dope show, folks. Check it out. It's called Ozark, now streaming on Netflix for your viewing pleasure.